Hello everyone, I'm Mr.Dishwasher. The One Piece anime concludes the grand battle between Luffy and Kaido. In the previous video, I have recapped One Piece anime episodes 1 to 1077. Today, I'll be taking you through a complete review of all the fights between Luffy and Kaido. In total, Luffy was defeated 5 times by Kaido. Their first encounter took place during Wano Saga Act 1. Kaido transformed into a colossal dragon and hovered above Okabor Town. He not only reduced Okabor Town to ruins, but also leveled Oden Castle and half a mountain with a single blast breath. Upon witnessing the situation, Luffy's anger becomes uncontrollable. He worries about the safety of his comrades and immediately confronts Kaido. Luffy leaps into the sky, delivering a powerful attack. The impact of this attack is so great that those around couldn't keep their eyes open. However, when the smoke clears, Kaido emerges completely unscathed. In that moment, Luffy sees the injured Speed and learns that Tama has also been hurt by Kaido. This deepens his rage, and he once again stands before Kaido, shouting that he will become the Pirate King. Before the words fall, he turns on the Gear Third and attacks Kaido again. To Luffy's surprise, Kaido's defense is astonishing. Despite Luffy's torrential barrage, Kaido treats it as nothing more than a hangover remedy. After receiving a bit of a massage, Kaido returns to his true form, wielding the weapon, the Hasaikai. He wobbles and looks at Luffy. Seeing this, Luffy knows he has to go all out. He transforms into his ultimate Gear Fourth, unleashing a ferocious storm of attacks that overwhelms Kaido. This time, Luffy's assault is effective, breaking through Kaido's drunken haze. Kaido opens his dragon eyes, and a thunderous roar echoes through the sky. However, as the thunder subsides, Luffy's ultimate move is about to be unleashed. Unexpectedly, his invincible Gear Fourth is not a match for Kaido's Thunder Bagua. Kaido asks in a subdued manner, "What king was that, boy?" In this way, Luffy is defeated and captured, becoming Kaido's prisoner. At this point, Luffy was defeated by Kaido for the first time, losing his fighting capability. Now let's look at their second clash, which happened at the pinnacle of Onigashima. Luffy had rallied the samurai, Mink Tribe, Kid and Law to raid Onigashima. Meanwhile, Kaido had just trounced the Red Scabbards and allied with Big Mom. At the same time, Kid, Killer, Law and Zoro also reached the top of Onigashima. The last one to arrive is none other than the Straw Hat, Luffy.
20年以上先の未来に次の時代を担う強力な海賊たちがカイドウを討てるのは
Finally, Luffy, along with the other 5 supernovas, stands atop Onigashima. He approaches Kaido and Big Mom step by step, ignoring their continuous taunts.
Monkey D. Luffy, お前らを超えて海賊王になる男だ!
Right then, Luffy had unleashed his flowing cherry blossom haki and knocked out Kaido with one punch. The battle escalated into a confrontation between the 5 supernovas and Kaido and Big Mom. There were many iconic moments during the process, such as Luffy, Kid and Law braving Big Mom's fiery bombardment. Luffy showed no fear towards Big Mom's lightning, shocking her. Continuing on, Luffy braces against the torrent, then launches a frenzied assault on Kaido with his Kong Gatling. A barrage of countless heavy punches rains down on Kaido's imposing frame, a deluge of blows that persist for a full 8 minutes. Luffy's relentless assault eventually topples the colossal dragon form onto Onigashima. However, this intense effort pushes Luffy to his 4th gear limit. He reverts to his base form and enters the 10-minute cooldown phase. This marked the second time Luffy was felled by Kaido. After running out of Gear 4, Luffy had lost his fighting ability and was nearly devoured by Kaido. Fortunately, Zoro stepped in just in time to protect his captain. Zoro also used his 3-sword style, Black Rope Dragon Twister to cut through Kaido's dragon scales. With help from his comrades, Luffy made a full recovery and regained his combat capability. At the same time, Kaido unleashed his new form, Human Beast form. Thus, they plunged into another phase of chaotic battle. We won't go into others' fights for now, but focus on Luffy versus Kaido. Luffy was livid and aggressively went on the offensive against Kaido. His fiery fists force Kaido to instinctively evade. Observing this, a smile curls up on the corners of Luffy's mouth. It turns out that even Kaido has moments of fear and needs to dodge attacks. This situation ignites Kaido's fury, and he swings his club forcefully at Luffy, sending him back 100 meters. However, Luffy remains undaunted, engaging Kaido once more in a fierce struggle. Amidst the intense battle, Kaido showcases his dominating strength. He harnesses otherworldly black thunder currents, causing the entire Onigashima Island to tremble. Yet, Luffy faces the storm with unwavering resolve, defiantly standing against Kaido's lightning. Now, the other supernovas set their sights on Big Mom. They aim to keep Kaido occupied while they execute their separation plan. Ultimately, Luffy was struck down by Kaido's Ragnaraku. Luffy's eyes rolled back as his pupils dilated widely. Just like before, he kept staring at Kaido until he lost consciousness. This marked the 3rd time Luffy was defeated by Kaido. At this critical juncture, Zoro stepped up to protect Luffy. He unleashed his ghastly 9-sword style against Kaido.
Oi, Kaido!
Unexpectedly, Zoro, despite his severe injuries, deals a heavy blow to Kaido with a single move. Seeing the massive wound on his body, Kaido even suspects if Zoro possesses Conqueror's Haki. Finally, under Zoro's protection, Luffy revived with full strength and vowed to take down Kaido. Unexpectedly, Luffy manages to rise once more, determined to knock Kaido down. Subsequently, Luffy recalled Hyogoro's teachings to him. Only in dire situations does power truly blossom. After being hit by Kaido's Iron Club, Luffy learns Conqueror's Haki can also infuse on the body. That's Kaido's strength. At this moment, Kaido admits with a laugh and launches a fierce attack. Just then, Luffy infuses Conqueror's Haki and uses his supreme grade sandals. Unexpectedly, infused with Conqueror's Haki, overwhelmingly formidable. Luffy's single punch makes Kaido spew blood and arch his body. Following that, Luffy clenches his fist again. A cracking heavy blow aims at Kaido's jaw. The immense impact overturns Kaido onto the ground. Now, Luffy instructs Law to protect Zoro and leave the rooftop battlefield, while he himself stays behind to completely defeat Kaido. Subsequently, Law, as per Luffy's request, leads Zoro away. Thus, only Luffy and Kaido remain on the rooftop of Onigashima, colliding head-on. At this moment, Kaido displays a smile. You look quite content. The more dire the situation, the more content you appear. Before the words even settle, Kaido lunges at Luffy, who meets him without flinching. Both of them intertwine their Conqueror's Haki, the clash of club versus the sandals. For a moment, the aura of Conqueror's Haki overwhelms the entire Onigashima rooftop. Amidst their fierce clash, Kaido repeatedly knocks Luffy down, but each time, Luffy rises again, launching countless powerful attacks. Techniques like the Gatling, Grizzly Magnum, and Red Rock are unleashed upon Kaido, leaving a considerable impact. Kaido is astonished by Luffy's determination and willpower. Yet, Kaido's strength is unfathomable. He remains resilient in the face of Luffy's relentless onslaught. Eventually, Luffy's stamina wanes, and he is once again struck down by Kaido. This time, Kaido employs a blade of energy to strike Luffy. Now, Luffy is battered and bloodied, and Kaido takes the opportunity to mock him, believing it's all over.
しまいだ。だったら何度でも叩き潰してやる。
After a fierce clash, Luffy vanishes from the peak of Onigashima. In this moment, Kaido reverts from his devil fruit form and speaks slowly.
お前の首を切って勝利宣言すべきだったんだ。だがお前の勝利を信じ続けちまうだろう。
Unexpectedly, Luffy is defeated by Kaido once again. His eyes roll back, and he plummets from the sky into the abyss of the ocean below. Observing Luffy's fall into the sea, Kaido mocks him. It seems you won't become Joy Boy. In this manner, Luffy was defeated by Kaido for the fourth time, losing his fighting capability. Fortunately, Luffy was rescued by Law's crewmates. After replenishing food, Momonosuke brought Luffy back to the top of Onigashima. During this time, Yamato had been battling Kaido. Meanwhile, Yamato raises her weapon high and launches her ultimate attack against Kaido. Finally, Luffy makes his return to Onigashima and sends Kaido flying with a single punch. This punch serves as Luffy's declaration of war, boosting the morale of the alliance. Next, Luffy asks Momonosuke to prevent Onigashima from falling, while he stays at the top to face Kaido. At this moment, Kaido transforms into his human beast form, and Luffy takes steps toward him, reigniting the battle.
生きてんだから無限にあんだろ。
Meanwhile, as Kaido had also reached his limit, Onigashima was likely to crash. Therefore, Momonosuke needed to release his flame clouds to prevent Onigashima from falling. Of course, neither Kaido nor Luffy cared about these circumstances. They continued their all-out attacks, with intense fighting ongoing. They exchange blows, both equally matched. Luffy starts to find the fight more intriguing. Suddenly, Kaido begins drinking heavily and becomes intoxicated. He switches between crying, laughing, feeling lost, and getting angry. Amidst this, the inebriated Kaido does not forget to continue his battle with Luffy. They clash multiple times, with neither gaining the upper hand. Kaido occasionally stops to pout and cry.
楽しくはあれど、城も半壊状態。なんでこんなめんどくせえんだよ。ちくしょう。何一つうまくいかねえ。うわー
Then, Kaido resumes his drunken revelry and once again engages in a chaotic brawl with Luffy. They even start headbutting each other, competing to see whose head is harder. After one of these headbutts, Kaido enters a state of drunken rage. He unleashes his ultimate move, the Kundali Dragon Swarm, while Luffy counters with Gatling, keeping the relentless battle going. Now, no one from any faction expected Luffy to hold his own against Kaido like this. Even the five elders in Mary Geo's feel the tension in the situation. During their discussion, the five elders mention that devil fruit. For centuries, that fruit has never awakened. Yet, the government still greatly fears it, to the extent that they dare not utter its original name and have given it a new one. Their aim is to erase the existence of that fruit from history. Afterward, Big Mom was defeated by Kid and Law. Upon learning this, Kaido wept drunkenly over Big Mom's defeat. Witnessing this, Luffy transforms into Snakeman form and continues his relentless barrage. While attacking, Luffy declares that this is his final Gear 4th transformation, vowing not to stop until he defeats Kaido. Soon, the two engage in battle once again, with neither showing any signs of yielding. Kaido unleashes various drunken techniques, including mimicking others and acting coquettish. Then, Kaido uses Kanbunshaku Haki to foresee the future, allowing him to evade Luffy's attacks and swallow him whole. Later, Kaido spits Luffy out into the air and unleashes his blast breath. However, Luffy defiantly withstands the blast breath and counters with an Overkong gun, a powerful punch that sends Kaido's blast breath back into his own belly. At this moment, Kaido initiates the Horai hack, a move that almost leaves Luffy gasping for air. This is Kaido's drunken rampage. Now, both combatants are pushing themselves to their limits, determined to decide the outcome with a decisive blow. It's the Overkong gun versus the Horai hack. Suddenly, a voice calls out, "Iron Body." It's the CP0 agent, who surprisingly launches a sneak attack on Luffy, catching him off guard and leaving him vulnerable to a powerful strike from Kaido. Kaido is visibly enraged upon realizing CP0's interference in his battle. Sadly, Luffy can't withstand Kaido's Horai hack, causing him to lose consciousness and drop down to the 4th gear. Strangely, despite being unconscious, Luffy's heart beats like a drum, as if marking a rhythmic cadence. At this moment, the battle at the summit of Onigashima concludes, with Kaido emerging as the victor among the combatants. At this point, Luffy was knocked down by Kaido for the 5th time, losing his combat ability. Of course, Luffy's Gear 5 moment would soon follow. In this critical moment, a sound akin to a heartbeat reaches the ears of Zunesha, which echoes in the ears of Momonosuke as well. It's the sound of liberation, the unmistakable rhythm of a presence not seen for 800 years. At this moment, Momonosuke had yet to fully comprehend Zunesha's words. Suddenly, a burst of laughter filled with freedom, joy, and a mischievous spirit erupted. The creator of this laughter was none other than Luffy. It turns out Luffy is Joy Boy. He has awakened the fearsome power of the Gum Gum Fruit, the most incredible ability. Simultaneously, the 5 elders are discussing the Gum Gum Fruit. For 800 years, each world government has attempted to reclaim the Gum Gum Fruit. However, it seems the Gum Gum Fruit has a will of its own. Every time, it manages to elude the government's reclamation plans. Indeed, the true name of the Gum Gum Fruit is the Human Fruit, Mythical Zoan, Model, Nika. That's right, the user of the Gum Gum Fruit is the sun god Nika, the one who brings freedom. Awakened users possess the most incredible and bewildering abilities in the world. Returning to Luffy, he feels a surge of strength, and even his heartbeat becomes amusing. Luffy has designated this form as the highest tier, the Gear 5th. Meanwhile, Kaido is boasting in the hall. Just then, a dramatic change occurs. A terrifying Haoshiku Haki emanates from the top. The members of the Beast's pirates all start foaming at the mouth. Just as Kaido is taken aback, a gigantic hand descends from the sky. Finally, Luffy regains his combat prowess. He hauls Kaido back to the peak of Onigashima and mercilessly pummels the Yonko. Luffy's arm strength is extraordinarily astonishing, swinging Kaido around, leaving him dizzy and disoriented. At this moment, Kaido regains his senses and laughs, saying, "You're still alive, thanks." Before he finishes speaking, Kaido breathes out his destructive blast breath. And so Luffy, in his newfound Nika form, has returned. The battle reaches its climax. At this point, Kaido expresses regret for CP0's interference earlier. He does not want to win the battle this way. Luffy, however, pays no mind. Next, the battle continues to intensify. Kaido opens his monstrous mouth and swallows Luffy in a single gulp. Unexpectedly, Luffy wreaks havoc inside Kaido's belly. Surprisingly, Luffy manages to inflate Kaido's belly like a balloon. Kaido's body also inherits rubber's properties from Luffy. In the previous episode, Luffy rebounded Kaido's blast breath. In reality, Luffy turned the entire floor into rubber, making everything he touched rubberized. This is the awakening ability of the rubber fruit. Now, Luffy is inside Kaido's belly, planning even more formidable moves. Afterward, using inhalation and exhalation, Luffy flies into the thundercloud layer. Thunder roars from within the clouds, startling Yamato below. Suddenly, a giant figure breaks through the clouds, as if a god descending to Earth. At this moment, Luffy transforms into a giant form. However, Kaido quickly reacts, biting down on Luffy. Just then, Luffy seizes Kaido and starts a workout. Finally, Kaido manages to forcefully release Blast Breath, forcing Luffy back. But Luffy quickly recovers from his scorched state. He creates a path of mist in the sky, and in an instant, he charges back towards Kaido. However, just at that moment, Kaido takes the initiative. At this moment, Luffy's imposing head appears in the hall. Everyone is taken aback by his presence. Subsequently, Luffy retrieves his giant form, returning to the battlefield summit. Kaido, observing, comments on Luffy's abilities, saying them like coming from the story. However, even though Luffy has pushed himself to the limit, he's entirely unable to land a blow on Kaido. Just as Kaido predicted, the drawbacks of exceeding the 5th gear's time limit are becoming apparent, and Luffy's appearance and vitality are rapidly deteriorating. In this moment, rather than seizing the opportunity to attack, Kaido sits down, displaying a demeanor reminiscent of an exceptional teacher. However, in reality, Kaido is also worn out, and movement becomes a struggle. Kaido declares that this battle between him and Luffy will be remembered in history. In response, Luffy states that he isn't concerned about such fame because if he were to die, he'd be nothing more than a pile of bones. Therefore, Luffy asserts that he can't let things end like this. As he speaks, he forces himself to stand again and transforms into the Nika form once more. In a mere exchange, Kaido's blow leaves Luffy's head misshapen, causing him to cry out in pain as he runs around frantically. Seeing this, Kaido doesn't hold back and continues his assault. Surprisingly, Luffy effortlessly blocks Kaido's heavy blow, causing the ground around him to become elastic. Utilizing the bounce of the ground, Luffy springs up, finally escaping from Kaido's attack range. At this moment, Kaido is astonished by Luffy's performance. Luffy not only infuses Busashoku and Haoshiku Haki, but he can also alter the properties of other objects at will. Kaido admits he's never seen such a versatile fighting style, but he remains incredibly self-assured. He shouts, declaring that there's absolutely no one in the world who can defeat him. Just then, Luffy begins a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and launches an attack. In this manner, Luffy's fist topples Kaido. He finds his newfound abilities highly intriguing. Kaido, with his face covered, asks, "Who are you?" To which Luffy replies, "I am who I am." His heartbeat grows stronger and stronger. Zunesha also exclaims that this is the Joy Boy they've been expecting.
Monkey D. Luffy, Kaizoku O ni naru otoko da!
Kaido laughed and stated, "Seeing your continued arrogance puts my mind at ease." He further revealed that when both body and mind match the potential, a devil fruit awakens. However, Luffy's awakened ability indeed stands out in an extraordinary way. Continuing, Kaido expressed his losses, subordinates, castles, and the painstakingly accumulated things. He inquired whether Luffy was the same as his present self. But the losses endured by the people of Wano far exceeded Kaido's own. Luffy promptly responded, asserting that there are things he must reclaim regardless of the cost. Without hesitation, the battle escalated between the two once more. After an intense exchange, they temporarily backed away, catching their breath. Suddenly, Kaido said that the activity area below and the castle were engulfed in flames. Luffy's thousands of companions were at risk of being burned alive. These words served as Kaido's psychological tactic. However, Luffy remained unfazed by this attempt to unsettle him. He stated that he had entrusted the matter below to others long ago. His current focus was solely on defeating Kaido. With these words, Luffy charged towards Kaido, reigniting the intense battle. Currently, the battle between Luffy and Kaido reaches its climax. Emerging from the clouds, Luffy transforms into the thunder god Zeus. Seeing this, Kaido is greatly surprised and remarks on Luffy's recklessness. But Luffy does not fear. He once again summons lightning, a force as mighty as thunder. Surprisingly, Kaido easily counters Luffy's lightning attack. Kaido teaches Luffy that Conqueror's Haki surpasses Devil Fruit abilities. But Luffy doesn't hesitate and launches a fierce lightning attack. Currently, Kaido's strike leaves Luffy disoriented, soaring into the thunderclouds. Unexpectedly, Luffy reaches out with a hand towards Kaido in the midst of the thunderclouds. At this moment, Luffy grips Kaido tightly but exposes his own position. Promptly, Kaido unleashes Demolition Gust attack on Luffy. Nevertheless, despite the blood spraying, Luffy refuses to let go. He's gathering energy to execute his final move. Seeing this, Kaido attacked Luffy with his blast breath. However, despite being scorched black, Luffy maintained his grip. For he could hear the voices of the people. The longing in the hearts of Wano citizens who were enslaved for 20 years. At this moment, Luffy carries the hopes of everyone on his shoulders. He has finally gathered the last of his energy to unleash his ultimate move, the Bajrang Gun. Unexpectedly, Luffy formed a fist larger than Onigashima itself. In front of Luffy, the once mighty dragon Kaido appears as a miniature dragon. Witnessing this, Kaido smiles at Luffy and says, "I'll take this one head on." Without delay, Kaido unleashes his ultimate technique, the Flame Dragon Torch. To everyone's surprise, Kaido breathes scorching molten flames, forming a colossal lava dragon as immense as Luffy's fist. The searing heat burns Luffy's palm, and even Onagashima's skull horn melts upon contact with the fire dragon. Kaido takes flight, warning Luffy that his punch will melt before it lands. In response, Luffy claims that he won't melt because he has mastered Flowing Cherry Blossom, an attack that doesn't require physical contact. With that, both of them unleash their ultimate moves, Bajrang Gun vs Flame Bagua. And so, Luffy and Kaido engage in an intense clash of their ultimate techniques, with no clear victor emerging yet. During this time, Jinbe and Reizo extinguish Onagashima's Great Fire. Denjiro slew Orochi and rescued Hiyori. The Fire Festival in Wano reaches its end as people release the Sky Lanterns. Kaido also recalls memories from his past. Now, as this prolonged and epic battle approaches its climax, everyone has overcome countless obstacles. There are only two remaining questions to answer. First, can Luffy defeat Kaido? Second, can Momonosuke protect Onagashima and Flower Capital?
Omae 腹いっぱい飯食える国にしてやる。俺はたちが腹いっぱい世界
キング、俺はジョイボーイが誰だか分かった。この先俺を倒した男だ。
Ultimately, Luffy defeats Kaido using the Bajrang Gun. Momonosuke also creates flame clouds. At this moment, Kaido falls into a state of unconsciousness, and he continues to plummet into the magma layer beneath, becoming neighbors with Big Mom. And that's how it ends for Kaido and Big Mom. Just then, everyone feels an earthquake, and the magma engulfs Kaido and Big Mom's bodies. Accompanied by a deafening explosion, a submarine volcano unexpectedly erupts. And that's how it goes, with the magma swallowing everything around, including Kaido and Big Mom. Here, the grand battle between Luffy and Kaido comes to a complete end, with Luffy emerging victorious. After suffering 5 consecutive defeats, Luffy manages to arduously triumph over Kaido. Under Kaido's tutelage, Luffy masters Flowing Cherry Blossom Haki and grasps Haoshiku Haki Infusion. He also learns sit-ups and awakens Gear 5 Nika form. After this campaign, Luffy also continues advancing towards his dream of becoming the Pirate King. Well then, that covers all the battles between Luffy and Kaido. Look forward to upcoming developments in One Piece. For friends who enjoy One Piece videos, remember to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you all. Goodbye.